and welcome to the NREP Daily right here in the National Real Estate Post. Today I have with me once again Rocky Andrews, president of the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. How you doing, Rocky?
Great, Frank. Good to be here.
Good. So today I just, in light of, there's a lot of stuff going on in the mortgage industry, obviously, that everybody knows about. And I don't want to get into that at all. I don't want to touch any of that. But, I do think it's a good time for us just to maybe just talk about the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. And I just, we had chatted before we got on this interview and we were just kind of talking about how NAM actually got started and, why. And, I thought maybe we could just kind of just real briefly just let everybody revisit NAM, and understand who NAM is, what we're doing, and, kind of just leave it at that, And so give us a little history on NAM and kind of where NAM is today and where we're going.
Yeah, and so I started in the mortgage industry back in the early 80s. Brokers pretty much started in the late 60s, early 70s. And originally brokers were just third-party originators. They would go get a loan from a borrower and then shop it around to the different banks and find somebody that would take it. And they would basically save their borrowers a bunch of time. And a lot of the people they ended up dealing with were people that couldn't get loans at banks. And so a lot of them ended up with private equity loans or private money, hard money.
Yeah.
Hard money lenders had somewhat of a bad reputation at that point. There was really no regulation in the industry, but not all brokers are that way. And the good brokers decide that in order to save themselves from being legislated out of business, because there was some real estate concerns at that time, they came up with their own association. And for the brokers that wanted to do business the right way, and in so doing, they came up with a code of ethics that they asked their members to subscribe to. And so that's kind of the basis of where brokers were. And they've, over the years, they've evolved into mainstream lending. And for a while there, they became a large source of all loans in the United States. So it served a purpose.
Yeah. And so NAM, when did the NAM actually start? Do you know?
It started basically in Florida back in the early 70s, and then they decided to take it national. There was a bunch of individual state associations. Arizona had one in the mid to late 70s. They kind of combined with Florida. And for a while, they had the headquarters in Florida. For a while, they had it in Phoenix. And then eventually, they decided they needed to be in Washington.
There's a lot of state broker associations, right? California Association of Mortgage Brokers, the Florida Association of Mortgage Brokers, are all these state associations, mortgage broker associations, these state ones, are they all tied to NAM, or do some of them operate like independently, or how's that all work?
Yeah, most of them are affiliated with NAM. It just became the best way to get your voice heard in Washington and to make sure that laws aren't passed that hurt the broker business. You need to have a voice in Washington, so most of them affiliate with NAMB. And then as you're well aware, back in the mid 2000s, brokers were taking a lot of negative publicity. And so a lot of the state associations, changed their name to mortgage professionals. Some of them aligned with the state mortgage banker associations. But most of those have come back now. So I would say the majority of them, are associated with NAM.
That's a good thing to talk about real quick, because I know that some brokers feel like when the association shifted from an association of mortgage brokers to mortgage professionals, that there was some sort of leaving of the brokerage industry. What was the thought process by the associations?
At that time, and I don't know if everybody will recall, but brokers were being blamed for the entire financial crisis.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily true.
Brokers, it was not fair at all. It was terrible.
They had their share of bad actors, just like anybody did, but they weren't the ones that caused it. But in any speeches that were made in Congress, they just used the term broker to cover everybody that was a bad loan originator.
Right.
And so a lot of states were deciding that, they wanted to get rid of the negative connotation, as well as bringing the fact that we're not just brokers, we're professionals, we're mortgage professionals. And so that's when a lot of them moved to the mortgage professionals. And as you've said in the past, a lot of brokers, weren't being able to survive and had to move to mortgage bankers. It was just kind of an evolution of the business at that point.
Right.
And NAM didn't necessarily want to say, you're no longer part of us. And so we just decided we would keep, loan originators, because loan originators really have no voice in Washington.
Right.
MBA doesn't represent the originator, they represent the company. And
Right.
that's fine, that's their position. And we just have always felt that loan originators deserve a voice, and that, even if you work at a bank, you're a small business and you're unto yourself, and you need some voice in Washington.
So did NAM ever go to National Association of Mortgage Professionals, or do they always stay NAM?
We kept the name NAM, but they added a tagline, the Association of Mortgage Professionals. Just because NAM was too well known at that time. All the legislators and lobbyists knew who NAM was, and we felt by changing our name, we would lose the goodwill and association we'd built up over the years.
Okay. So where's NAM at today? I mean, what's our status? What's the status of NAM today? And where's NAM going? What's happening now with NAM?
Well, NAM is representing, small business originators, primarily brokers, just because that's our history, and they're the ones that need the help. But loan originators at banks have long participated in our affairs because they get educated, they learn what the right way to do things are. Some banks, may not necessarily, as some brokerages, don't adhere to all the rules. And so as a loan originator, it's good to know what the laws are yourself, so you know how to protect yourself, because it's your license, you're a professional, you need to protect your livelihood. And so we feel that loan originators of all sorts need to be educated and need to have a voice, and somebody that helps them get better.
NAM still is very, involved politically, right? So you guys still have I noticed that fairly recently, even we were invited to a couple of calls, with the CFPB, with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, that type of thing, where these organizations, or these agencies, I should say, when they look to bringing in industry professional groups, when they're thinking mortgage broker, it's typically they default to NAM, right? And so,
well, yeah, because the mortgage brokers are typically small business. We have a lot of originators. We can communicate to HUD, we can communicate to the CFPB what's actually happening out there. Small, mortgage banks, federally chartered banks, they don't have their finger on the consumer as much as we do, and our members do. And we can tell them how these rules are affecting buyers, what's happening to loans. And recently with the forbearance, how banks were, automatically putting consumers into forbearance without them knowing. And CFPB in Washington had no idea this was even happening, or that it was being mentioned on their credit reports, somewhat in counter to the intent of the rule that went into effect. And so, when they want to find out what's happening on the street, we are kind of the ones that they go to.
Just tell me just real quickly, and we'll kind of wrap this up. I know NAM does events as well that are always great. What's NAM got on the horizon for that? In this COVID environment and that type of a thing.
Yeah, we're pretty much like everybody else. We're planning for the best or hoping for the best and planning for the worst.
Yeah.
We had assumed that by now things would be getting better, and that we would be able to go ahead with a live event in Las Vegas. But things are getting worse, and we're holding out the possibility that things could get shut down again. Certainly not hoping for that. So we're pursuing virtual concepts, we're pursuing webinars, other ways to get the message out to the loan originators of what's available out there. Because people attend our conferences, A, to get educated, and B, to find new lending partners and people in the business. And so if we're unable to do it in a live environment, we want to make sure that we accomplish that the same method, maybe through virtual, as everybody's learning. Work from home and virtual loan origination aren't necessarily exclusive, and that it's certainly something that we can move forward with.
Somebody wants to become a member of NAM. We'll put the link down below. What's the cost to be associated with NAM?
Join NAM is $120 a year, $10 a month. It's one of the cheapest organizations to belong to, and the value you get is unbelievable. And as we have said many times over the years, we consider it professional insurance. Ensure that your profession is there in the years to come. And that's the primary thing. And $120 is a small amount of money to pay for that.
Put a link down below for you guys if you want to click it, become a NAM member. And it's not, although NAM is the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, and by far most of the paying members to NAM are mortgage brokers, but a lot of originators that are not mortgage brokers are members of NAM. In fact, even some of the leadership is not a mortgage broker, right? So,
yes, and we welcome them all.
Yeah, everybody's welcome to NAM. So that's good stuff, man. I appreciate it. I just really felt like, it was just probably, and you felt like it's probably just a good idea just to talk about how did NAM start? Where are we at? What's going on? You know what I mean? In light of today's, environment is just so topsy-turvy.
And sometimes we just forget that not everybody knows all this stuff, and especially the younger participants in our industry may not know the history of what's happened, and it's always fun to kind of pass that on to them so they understand where we came from and where our industry has been.
All right, good enough. Rocky Andrews with NAM, president of NAM. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Thanks, Frank.
All right, you guys have a great day. Do us a favor, leave us your comments down below. There's a link down below as well if you want to join NAM, which would be a good thing. And we will catch up with you guys later. Adios.
Yo.